Hello students, are you ready to begin a new session with an interesting story? Do you like to play in or with water? During the Holi festival, a group of friends played with colors, mixing them with water and splashing each other. They went to a well to wash off and clean their clothes. If there had been no water, they wouldn't have been able to play with colors or clean themselves afterward, missing out on the fun and enjoy the festival fully. For what purposes do we need water in our daily lives? We need water for various daily activities such as bathing, cooking, washing clothes, and cleaning utensils. In fact, we can't survive without water for even a single day. So, let's explore the topic, water we use, and the water cycle from the lesson Water in Our Life in class 6th Science. We need to drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day for our bodily functions to run smoothly. Other living organisms also require water, though the amount needed can vary based on their size. Thus, it's clear that water is essential for all life. Learning outcomes. After studying this topic, you will be able to measure the volume of water, identify the sources of water, describe the stages involved in ensuring a safe drinking water supply, explain the water cycle and its significance. Keywords: water sources, filtration, water cycle, evaporation, transpiration, condensation, oceans, groundwater. Let's see the concept map on water sources and water cycle. In the example above, a group of friends playing with colors used 7 buckets of water to clean themselves and their clothes. Can we measure water in terms of number of buckets? Generally, water is stored in various types of vessels. We often say a glass of water, a bucket full of water, a bottle of water, etc. However, there are specific units for measuring the volume of water. The volume of water and other liquids is measured in liters and milliliters. Water tanks in some villages, towns and cities have the capacity to store gallons of water. A gallon is also a unit for measuring the volume of liquids. The water level in reservoirs is measured in feet. Water released from dams and projects during floods is measured in cusecs, cubic centimeters per second. Do you know how much water you use each day? You can measure your daily water usage by filling a bucket, a glass, a mug, or any container using a 1-liter bottle. This will help you estimate your total water consumption for the day. Consider each member of your family, your neighborhood, or your town, and then think about the total population of your country. This shows how using too much water can cause water shortages. While air and water are naturally available, people now often have to buy water, just like other commodities. We get water from various sources around us. In most villages, wells, canals, tanks, ponds, and rivers are the main sources of water. Water is also found in some fruits and vegetables we eat. For example, watermelons and cucumbers have lot of water in them. Our bodies are made up of about 70% water by weight. Water on Earth. There are many sources of water on Earth. Nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, with about 2/3 found in oceans and seas. This ocean and sea water contains many salts, making it salty and not suitable for drinking or other uses like farming and industry. The water we use for our daily needs is called fresh water. Fresh water can be found in ponds, lakes, rivers, tube wells, and from taps in our homes. We get fresh water by filtering water from sources like wells or ponds near villages. The groundwater is tapped by digging a well or borewell. After filtering, it goes through several steps before it is supplied as drinking water through taps in our homes. How water is available? Here, water cycle has a major role. When water spills on the floor or wet clothes become dry, it's because of evaporation. Heat makes water turn into vapor, leaving salt behind. Sunlight heats water in oceans, lakes, and fields, causing it to evaporate. Warm air helps evaporate water from shaded areas too, adding vapor to the air, but it is a slow process. Plants absorb water through their roots. This water is used for photosynthesis and stored in various parts of the plant. The remaining water is released into the air as water vapor through a process called transpiration. Water vapor enters the atmosphere through both evaporation and transpiration. Take a glass half filled with water and wipe the outside with a clean cloth. Add some rice to the water and wait for 1 to 2 minutes. Observe the changes on the outer surface of the glass. Where do the water drops come from? The cold surface of the glass cools the air around it, causing the water vapor in the air to condense on the glass. This process is called condensation. Condensation helps bring water back to Earth. As we go higher, the air gets cooler. When warm air rises, it cools down, and the water vapor in it turns into tiny drops called droplets. These droplets float in the air and form clouds. Some drops get so heavy that they fall as rain. In certain conditions, this can also fall as hail or snow. So, water vapor that enters the air forms clouds and returns to the ground as rain, hail, or snow. Almost all land surfaces are above sea level. Most of the water that falls on land as rain or snow run into the oceans. This occurs in several ways, like snow in the mountains melts and turns into water, flowing as streams and rivers. Similarly, rainwater also flows into rivers and streams. Most rivers travel long distances and empty into a sea or ocean, while some rivers flow into lakes. Some of the rainwater is absorbed by the ground soil. Some rainwater returns to the air through evaporation and transpiration. Open wells are fed by groundwater and also the source for many lakes. Additionally, groundwater is drawn from hand pumps and tube wells. Water is brought back to the surface of the earth by rain, hail, or snow and returns to the oceans. Water from the ocean and land enters the air as vapor, returns as rain, hail, or snow, and finally flows back to the oceans. This process is called the water cycle. The circulation of water between the ocean and land is continuous, helping to maintain the supply of water on land. This concludes our discussion about the water we use and the water cycle. I hope you enjoyed learning about this important topic. Points to remember. Water is essential for life. Water vapor gets added to air by evaporation and transpiration. The water vapor in the air condenses to form tiny droplets of water, which appear as clouds. Many tiny water droplets come together and fall down as rain, snow, or hail. Rain, hail, and snow replenish water in rivers, lakes, ponds, wells, and soil. The circulation of water between ocean and land is known as the water cycle.